Larry is the first person really that people think to ask for help. He's just great. I mean, he's great about going out there and having discussions with people when everybody else kind of doesn't know what to say.
Larry has been a police officer his whole life. He started with the Fort Worth Police Department many years ago. He worked his way up through the ranks here, from patrol officer to sergeant to lieutenant to detective. Larry has been there and done that. Larry's been in the trenches, so to speak.
Larry Lowe is one of the most passionate individuals I've ever had the pleasure to work with. I've worked with Larry for over 25 years, and I can tell you that whatever he does, whatever it is that he takes on with a passion.
When Larry retired, he became the chaplain for the police department, and I believe because his wife is a nurse, he was in that field also, and really saw a need even beyond law enforcement, first responders, nurses, for mental health for first responders.
Well, I was born in the Holy Land, East Texas, in a town called Crockett, little town down there, and I was raised in the Holy City, Fort Worth. I grew up there, went to high school there and college, and graduated from TCU with a degree in criminal justice, one of the first 3 to graduate with that degree from there. I served Richardson as a police officer and from '75 until 2002, and retired as a lieutenant at that time.
I think when Larry retired as a police officer, as a lieutenant, he had always wanted to be a preacher growing up, and he really saw that as his role of how he could continue to support all of his colleagues and his peers here at the Richardson PD.
I think the thing that inspired me the most to volunteer is just I've always felt a call to service. Possibly I got that from my dad, who served in the Army in World War II. Several of my family members served in World War II, but I just always have had a passion to serve and be there for other people. I started out as a young kid wanting to be a minister, a preacher, and spent summers down in East Texas preaching to chickens in the chicken house. Let me tell you, don't try to baptize any of them if you convert them. They just don't go for that. Thought I was going to do that, and as I got older, I realized preachers are supposed to be pretty good people, and I'm not so sure
Larry
I was all that
tends to
good
be a little
at it.
long-winded.
And you better have some time on your hands when you talk to Larry, because he's going to spend some time with you advocating whatever it is that's on his mind.
He will get on a story and just kind of keep it going. Usually it's got a good punchline and it's funny, but he is kind of known to be a little bit long-winded, and I think it's hilarious.
So I get all those uplifting topics to talk about with people and everything.
The day he retired, he decided he was going to stick around and be a chaplain. So he has been a volunteer chaplain and put in more than 11,000 hours as a volunteer after his retirement. So he really is still a part of our family, but just in a much different role.
The volunteers with the Richardson Police Department play an integral part in our total operation. We could not function like we do today without all the great volunteers that we have. There's no part of the department that does not get touched by a volunteer.
I didn't have any formal training as a chaplain at the time, so I didn't feel worthy of being a chaplain, even though I had people coming to me and talking to me about issues that they had. So I went and started getting training to be a chaplain. I finally went through an internship with Baylor Healthcare System, working in the hospitals as a chaplain. That's when I said, okay, now you can call me chaplain.
Larry is really great because he not only supports the staff here and the officers here, but he also supports our volunteers and our retirees.
I'm a chaplain for them. I take care of the officers and visit with them, make hospital visits, call them and check on them when they're sick. Just a lot of different things that I do to try to take care of them emotionally as well as spiritually. In 2000, after we'd had a double homicide in which a mother strangled her 2 little boys on Christmas night. And our officers were having difficulties dealing with it. I was the watch commander on duty that day, so I had seen them too. And I didn't know what to do to help them. I started getting feedback from some of my supervisors that some of them were having trouble sleeping and things like that.
Usually after something like that, you basically just kind of had to suck it up. You still had to, do your job. You still had to write a report. You still had to maintain the scene and do everything. And then afterwards, it was kind of like, okay, deal with it, and then it had to be over.
And so, God forgive me, I went across the parking lot to the fire department and talked to the fire chaplain, who was a good friend of mine. And he's the one that told me about CISM.
CISM stands for Critical Incident Support Management. It is a peer support program to take care of each other after a critical incident. It's basically normalizing the response to an abnormal incident. It's putting the Band-Aid, the emotional triage, directly after the incident, and it includes the follow-up and follow-through after the incident as well.
One mistake, I went home and told my wife about it. She said, I went through the training on CISM 6 months ago, and I came home and told you, you need to really look at this for your officers. And if I remember right, you said, we're men, we're cops, we don't need that touchy-feely stuff.
And since then, he's done so much research on it and so much training on it, that really has become his ministry and his mission as a volunteer for us.
I was conducting a class one time, and there was an officer, one of our officers, that sat on the front row. And he was paying attention, unlike some of them that came in there. And I had a chance to visit with him at one point. He and I were, I wouldn't say close friends, but we had a friend relationship over some things that happened previously when he was a rookie. And I asked him, I said, why do you want to learn this? Why do you want to take this course? And he looked at me and he said, because someday we're going to lose an officer. And when we do, I want to be ready to help. That officer was David Sherrard, and he died 4 months later.
So in 2018, February of 2018, David Sherrard was shot and killed in the line of duty. After that fits the definition of an extremely stressful and abnormal incident. What we did immediately is did that emotional triage. We took care of each other.
It was a hard time for all of us. And I'll be honest, I felt overwhelmed. Even though I thought I was prepared, I wasn't, and I tried to do everything I could. But as I look back on it, there's still things I wished I'd have done better and more of, But I hope that what that means is I'll take that and pass it on to others, and one, help me get better, but also help them be better at what they do. David taught me a lot. There's no question about it. He taught me a lot.
That time was so important that we really did realize just how important his volunteer work has been for the organization.
It's created a more cohesive group among us to be able to lean on each other and realize the importance of needing that peer support. It's sometimes not until you go through a tragic incident like this that you realize the need for it, and not say, I'm okay. We really need to keep an eye on each other, and I think Larry has really driven that home, and Larry's an integral part of this. Larry's passion for CISM has gotten the program up and running here, and matter of fact, his work with CISM has made us one of the leaders in the area of CISM.
He's seen the difference that it makes, and he knows that he can help other people make that difference and be that first step in healing. Yeah.
I think that he felt like that was something that was near and dear to his heart, and also, seeing former coworkers going through, some problems, and that there was something out there that could help.
To be a real, true volunteer, you need to get into it because your heart is in the organization that you're serving. You believe in what they're doing, and you have a passion for it, and you're not willing to settle for anything but the best from yourself in it.
We almost forgot to nominate Larry because he's not really seen as a volunteer. A lot of times people just see him as still a member of the staff. You almost forget that he is doing this on his own time, on his own volition.
He puts in a lot of hours. He's up here all the time. He also teaches in the area. And just based on his passion and his dedication of coming back and forth, he's extremely deserving of this award. I can't think of anyone else that would be more deserving of this award.
It's just so nice to see him get some recognition, because even as outgoing and as friendly as he is, he doesn't really seek the limelight.
When I found out I was getting this award, I was overwhelmed. I felt unworthy because there are so many other volunteers that do so much more than I do. But I was also proud that I'm a part of an organization that is recognized for its professional standards, and I get to continue to be a part of that organization even though I'm retired from it.
Larry, congratulations on your award. I can't think of anyone who deserves it more. I appreciate you more than you know, and I just want to say congratulations, brother.
Larry, congratulations for winning this award. There's nobody else I can think of that's more deserving than you. I want to thank you for being there for me for all kinds of trials and tribulations, both personally and professionally. There's some times that I don't know if I would have made it through if I didn't have somebody to fall back on. Thank you so much for getting this program up and running. It is going to be your legacy, and it's going to be a legacy for the Richardson Police Department.
There was not even a discussion about critical incident stress management until you became passionate and you took this issue on. And you've made this standard conversation throughout our profession.
Larry, my fellow horned frog, you've got the heart of a servant, and I'm so proud that you're getting recognized for all of your hard work. Thank you so much for all you do.
Larry, I want to congratulate you on this honor. It's one that you've spent a lifetime and a career earning. You've done so much for the Richardson Police Department in terms of helping us stay emotionally healthy. We all owe you a great debt of gratitude. Thank you so much for what you've done.